Welcome everyone to round number 4 of the 2019 Race Factor Gaming Grand Prix Series here in MX Simulator. It is the RFGP of Portugal in Agueda, and I am excited to bring you guys some more action here this week as the Pro Series continues. After a little week hiatus there for the Nationals, we had the GP last week, obviously, the MXGP of the Netherlands at Valkenswaard, so we haven't seen you guys for a week. But we're back racing here tonight, and we're going to have the MX2 class on the gate here in a quick moment for Moto number 1 as they're going to get lined up. But before we get lined up for the evening, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our qualifying times, of course. In this division, Walter Gebhardt topped the timesheets here this week in Portugal on a 150.882. He was almost 2 seconds faster than his championship counterpart Isaiah Dickerson, 152.7. Tyler Lang a distant, almost a second back at Dickerson on a 153.4. Then we have Gatlin on a 154, Plessinger on a 154.8. And you can see the rest of the runners down through the field here. 24 guys were able to run laps, so we're going to have a pretty small class tonight. But the championship is still pretty hot and heavy, as our two championship contenders, as I said, Dickerson and Gebhardt at the top of the sheets. Dickerson 6 points clear of Gebhardt, and then Gebhardt is 45 points clear of Ben Seberg, who sits in third. So it's really just down to the two of them, and we've only gone 3 rounds deep into the series. So this is going to shape up to be an interesting one to watch between these two tonight, and whether or not someone else can get in the mix between these two riders, or is it going to be all theirs to play? Of course, the biggest element that they'll have to face tonight is the racetrack, and this one here in Portugal is a very fast and slick one this week. Drier dirt in the Portuguese peninsula down there, with Spain, of course, and pretty slick track. Trying to take you guys on a lap around here. Multiple line choices. They updated a little race version right before we got underway here tonight. Not too sure what was the big change on that, but you can see a lot of pre-made stuff here. Big braking bumps coming into the corners. Inside, outside options all over the place. Some taller split options on some of these little anthill jumps. And the track itself has actually changed up quite a bit in the last 4 or 5 years from the GP that they've had in the past. So where they have like these big triples in the middle of the track that didn't exist before. Used to have like this really big step down double that was off the top of the hill right out of this corner, but that is no longer there. It's a little U-turn now, drop down, some more rollers to the midsection, and then a little step up double into the far back section of the track from where the start line is. Get stopped for this corner, and then you have the tricky wave section here in the back. A lot of guys are going to try to rhythm their way through it, but these 250Fs might not be able to get the power down as well as they would hope. You got to drop down off the top here, do this double, get stopped for the inside of this corner, and swing it right back up the other side of the hill here. A little step up to the top, get on the brakes to get down to this inside line, drop back down again. A lot of braking bumps on these downhills. You're going to see guys get caught out a couple times by them. And then a long pit lane straightaway through some rough sections all the way up to our finish line jump. You're going to swing left and then a sharp little 180 to the right. And maybe one of the funnest finish line jumps on the circuit. Real big floaty tabletop down into a little step down tabletop. And they work their way to the other side of the valley one last time before we make it all the way back down to where we started the race at the beginning. Little split line anthill versus flat line on the outside option right here. And a big Ride365.com tabletop jump brings you back down into the first corner complex, and that is a lap here at Agueda in Portugal, where these guys are going to go at it here in just a quick moment. It looks like actually we're getting loaded in for the race right now, as race host Jeremy Kohnauer gives the call in chat to grab us a restart, and we're going to be set to go for round number 4 of the series, round 4 of 10. Crazy to think that we're already creeping up on the halfway point of this series, as it seems like we just got started yesterday. But as mentioned in this 250 division, the championship has really kind of widened out between our top 2 contenders and the rest of the field. So everybody else giving chase is kind of only chasing wins at this point, as the championship is pretty far out of grasp, unless, of course, either Gebhardt or Dickerson have some big mistakes down the stretch that could allow someone like Seberg to get back into the mix. It seems like it's down to those 2 players alone moving forward, and we'll see whether or not they can stand atop the podium here today in Portugal, or will somebody else find their way to the front and make things a little bit more interesting in terms of a spoiler roll. A lot of things at hand here. Round number 4 of the series. Of course, last week in Valkenswaard Deep Sand, our 2 championship contenders again right at the sharp end of the field. Gebhardt seemed fast all day but couldn't get starts. Dickerson started up front and pretty much finished there both times, so really nothing in it between them. In fact, it actually had changed points. The points lead had changed hands after the first moto when Dickerson had a little bit of struggles late in the race. Gebhardt was able to take the victory. Now they switched back. Dickerson back out to the front. And we'll see whether or not that is going to continue on. Or will someone else shine through? Loading in here, of course, it always takes a little bit longer to load in at the very beginning because we're loading all those skins. We'll get underway here. Good to see that chat has come by here tonight. Hope you guys are dropping by and having a good time. Enjoying your lovely Wednesday evening. I will also give a quick shout out to TG Photo, Todd Gutierrez. He is also streaming in my room right now. He's literally just the stone's throw away. I could hit him with a beer bottle right now if I really wanted to get at him. But he's streaming the MESX DMR race that is going on right now. So if you guys want to check him out on Twitch as well, you can check that race out, or you can stay here, or you could load both windows up. You could help us both out, and maybe you'll hear him yell, maybe he'll hear me yell. I'm sure that it'll be a lot of fun trying to combat each other all night long here. All right, getting these guys loaded up on the gate. As always, in our first and second motos, we're going to have a versus PC one to watch individually for each race. And let's take a look. Who do we want our versus PC one to watch to be this week? Obviously, you want to keep an eye on our points leaders. So you usually go back and find someone that you don't normally see. And I like this guy right here, Jake Thomas for Power Dream. Haven't seen his face around very much this year on the 217 machine. Like his kit, little Honda action with some Fox gear. We'll pick him for a versus PC one to watch in this first race. We got 24 guys lined up on the gate here to give you guys an action-packed Moto number 1 at Agueda in Portugal. And it's about to start right now live here on SYS TV as our riders load in one last time. Looks like we have most of our championship contenders right in the middle. I see Devin Ryan sharp down the inside. Dickerson obviously right in the middle of our screen here. And it's time to go racing. The RFGP of Portugal is underway on SYS TV. You see Dickerson humping the bike trying to get into the corner first, but it's actually out of the middle. Hughes on the 134 got there. Devin Ryan cut the inside corner and eventually caused a huge stack up, so that whole shot award is going to go to Isaiah Dickerson. With him comes OG Brandon Holmes off the top. So 148 machine of Holmes also getting another good start this week. We saw him actually lead a little bit of the first moto last week in Valkenswaard, and it was really these two that broke away in that first moto for a little while. So can Dickerson establish himself as the potential race winner here with a big gap at the beginning? Do himself wonders, especially with some troubles maybe out of his championship rival Gebhardt off the start. Holmes trying to stick in tight right there. Get the speed carried to the outside line right there. Of course, the track is as fresh as it will be right now. The new erode system, which is basically terrain deformation. And that has been new to the game in the past couple of years. They've really worked on refining it, and we'll start seeing the track develop. Each passing lap, get a little bit bigger ruts, deeper bumps. Makes it quite interesting to follow the race as it goes on for sure. So Holmes trying to give chase. Gebhardt already up to third, so Gebhardt was not collected in that first turn crash that we saw with Devin Ryan. Not too sure why the 15 machine had to cut the inside of the track right there. Fortunately, when he rejoined, he didn't actually hit anybody. It was just when he slid out, exiting turn 1, that caused a little bit of a pileup there. And fortunately for the championship contenders in this series, neither one of them was super negatively affected. I didn't get a chance to see whether or not Gebhardt was actually stalled up for a moment in that little chaos there. but he is already up into third and giving chase to Brandon Holmes, who occupies second right now. And I'll tell you what, folks, the 148 machine here is not letting our points leader get away too quickly. Holmes has quickly learned this game, picked it up very fast. As mentioned, led a little bit last week at Valkenswaard. Didn't quite end how he had hoped. But at the moment, it is still looking pretty strong for an early running in this series out of the 148. Of course, Gebhardt still gives chase. We got Daniel Batchelor up here on the 86. He is in fourth for C4 Designs. Nice start for the 86, but that's not going to help as he lands sideways. Down he goes. Let's see how many positions he loses. That is Fred Heather going by, Christian Reed, and then I think a TMFR rider went down right behind him. And the 53 of Kevin Gonzalez is going to try to sneak around the inside, but he may not get that pass done as they both short on the triple, and Batchelor is able to go back through. So Gatlin, Brennan, and Dalton Plessinger all find themselves up here. Who was that rider that went down? 214. I believe that would be Rasmus Eriksson. But why? I guess he's already a lap down. Take a peek back in the pack here. Why? Yeah, he must have missed a timing gate. We're all the way on this side of the racetrack over here by the start line. And he has fully missed a timing gate here. So something has happened for the 214, which is unfortunate because it appeared he had a good start there. Either way, out of the race. And Devin Ryan becomes the first man to rage quit out of this moto. So maybe it was just a full send moment there for Devin Ryan at the beginning of the race. Taking a peek back up front, Isaiah Dickerson checks in now with a sizable lead, and Gebhardt has moved up into second, so we've lost Brandon Holmes somewhere along the process here. Maybe is tipped over or had a fall-off crash somewhere that has caused him to lose that second position. But I suppose this is set up exactly how we want it to be. Championship rivals 1 and 2. And the question remains whether or not Dickerson will be able to just flat catch Isaiah Dickerson. 53.2 to a 52.4. So last time through, Gebhardt was a little bit slower than Dickerson. Doesn't mean that he's not going to pick it up this lap now that he's in cleaner air. 6.1 seconds is the gap as it stands. Slowly actually came down a little bit right there. So maybe a small mistake up ahead out of Dickerson has caused that to go down a bit. So this gives you a good onboard perspective here at the beginning of this race, how smooth the track still kind of is. This week it actually looks like they gave us a little bit of a rougher base to start with, and that may actually erode the track quite a bit differently than these guys are used to. But still, it's actually quite smooth comparatively, as deep as it'll get late in the race. Check back in 20 minutes or so and you'll see what I'm talking about. Gebhardt launching out into the mechanics area. Carries a lot of speed, goes inside before the finish line. Seems to be the hot ticket for most riders. This time through, 53.2 once again, and a 52.7 out of Dickerson. So again, Dickerson faster that lap through. But it did seem like Gebhardt caught him at the second half of the track right there. So perhaps a mistake at the beginning really hurt Gebhardt. And just like last time, it seems like the gap is pretty much the same. So yeah, Brandon Holmes has gone down. He is back into third, and he's lost a lot of ground now to our two race leaders. It seems as though he is still all by himself, though. Not even close. In fourth is Kevin Gonzalez for BPC. Field thinning out a little bit as the series goes on. That is pretty typical for most series. You'll see it in the National Series as we get later into the year. Less and less riders will show up. It happens. Holy moly. A Piccione 127 dropping that 1,000 biddies in chat. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the action-packed racing out here. And I guess I may have to ask you why you aren't out here. I think you're plenty capable of running these guys' pace, Mr. A Piccione 127. But maybe you're still trying out the AM series, which I don't mind, dude. That's awesome. They're still out here giving her a rip, and I appreciate the bits. Oh, battle for fourth brewing here. Gonzalez and Lang going at it up to the top of the hill. Gonzalez trying to sneak down that inside, but Lang's going to hop down into flat and, at least for the moment, make that pass. And yeah, he will stick it into that next corner. So Tyler Lang, man on the move right here. Number 18 rider for MV Films. Look at that, hopping over the inside there. Goodness me. He is feeling it. So let's see lap time wise whether or not he's able to actually claw any time away from Holmes up ahead. I mean, our leaders are just gone at the moment. Looking at the track map, actually, you can see he's probably about 15 seconds behind Gebhardt and at least 20 or more seconds behind our race leader. 51.6 out of Lang, though. That may have just reset fastest lap of the race. Holmes going 4 seconds a lap slower up ahead. Gebhardt and Dickerson actually did a 51.6. So yeah, that was the exact same lap time out of Lang and Dickerson, the teammates there. Interesting dynamic right there between the teammates doing the exact same lap on the exact same time of the race. Gonzalez drops to 5th. We got Jack Gatlin trying to put a charge on here in 6th. Gatlin for that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna factory racing ride. Pretty much running the full replica kit from this past weekend at the MXGP of Russia IRL that Pols Jonas and Arminas Jasakonis ran. Of course, Jasakonis actually plays Sim. That is where they get the full factory support from Rockstar Energy Husqvarna in the game. Jasakonis is pretty decent at the game. Pretty much like a mid-level amateur is what I would say. But you don't see him play that often anymore, obviously, especially in the middle of the GP season. Just finished up 10th at the MXGP of Russia this past weekend, and now his teammate out here, Jack Gatlin, trying to get after it. He's working on running down. Oh, as Lang went down, Lang lays it down before the waves, and that's going to allow not only Gonzalez but Gatlin as well to go on by. Is Lang still getting this inside double? Yes, he is, and he almost landed, it seemed like, on Gatlin. Working our way back uphill, and Lang trying to give chase actually loses the front end again. So a couple mistakes there out of the 18 machine just after he ran fastest lap of the race. Maybe a sign that he's pushing the envelope a little bit. Oh, and as I say that, Gatlin goes down in the final corner. So Gatlin trying to get remounted. He is still going to be in 6th. And we peek back to fellow countryman Jordan Moxey in a battle with Christian Reed. They are disputing 7th. And Reed on that 354 might have an inside move as they go almost dualies off the finish line jump. Both of them scrub down this triple into the valley, and Reed is trying to size up an outside in, perhaps. Moxey tucks far inside as well. And they're bringing that 217 machine of Jake Thomas, our versus PC one to watch, right with them. All three of them in the air at the same time. That first corner complex, and Thomas has slowly been working his way through the field this entire race, so he is also on the move. Oh, gets hung up behind Reed though. Dropping back downhill. And it looks like, oh, Reed! Oh, he almost saved that. That would have been epic if he could have saved that crash right there. Unfortunately for him, loses a couple positions in the process. Oh, and almost goes off again. So Dalton Plessinger and Fred Heather both go by. Christian Reed has lost some ground to Jordan Moxey up a ways on the road. Of course, Gatlin still is in 6th. Then the battle for 4th between Lang, who is in 5th. Oh, and Gonzalez continues to be hot and heavy. Lang, clearly one of the fastest riders on the track, but may just be on the very tippy toe edge of the envelope here. Trying to get everything out of that MV Films machine lap after lap. Here is Brandon Holmes, who is still in 3rd. Lost a lot of ground to our leaders, but our leaders are, I mean, seriously gone at this point. 53-1 and a 58-1 out of Gebhardt. 22 seconds behind them is Holmes. So that means that from first to third, there's over 30 seconds. Incredible stuff here. Is A Pigeon 127 drops in another 500 biddies. Thank you, dude. I seriously appreciate that. And I did also notice that you said you went fastest in qualifying today for the AM series. So that's awesome, dude. Pump for you. And hopefully you go out there and crush it 1-1 and win by 2 laps, man. Especially because you donated. That makes you extra awesome to me. Dickerson working his way around has 11.5 seconds on Gebhardt. Look at Gebhardt hopping over that inside anthill roller. Definitely putting the charge on, but since we saw them move into first and second, it has kind of opened up the gap a little bit. I think Dickerson is just making a little bit less mistakes. 11.5 is pretty much exactly where it is. Let's take a look at the lap times this time through. 54-1 out of Dickerson. And 52-2 out of Gebhardt, so he just ran his fastest lap of the race. Still not quite the same laps that Dickerson was able to run earlier on. But again, track developing, ruts getting deeper. Maybe as the race is going on here, Gebhardt is finding his groove, and that is the right time to find it, especially when there's only 10 seconds between you and the race leader. That is not a huge gap in MX Simulator land. When fall-off crashes are usually in the realm of a 10-second penalty, basically. Fall off the bike, it takes about 10 seconds to get back going. So Gebhardt continues to give chase here. Race number 1 of the MX2 division at the RFGP of Portugal. He's going to swing around the outside and put, is that Rogan McIntosh? No, it's Connor Wells on the 203. Might have thought of this as the 103. 913. Oh. Lappers. Let's go back and take a look at those guys. They seem to be in a pretty tight-knit battle back there. That is Alex Kerr on the 913. Thank you, K-Hawk. Dropping the $5 donation. Says, keep up the great work streaming. I'm going to keep on keeping on, dude. And I appreciate the donation so much, man. You don't know how much that helps. And I'm hoping you're enjoying the stream right here, man. There's some good racing going on. Alex Kerr trying to hold off Jack Fowler. Connor Wells is ripping a 125. And Austin Bear has called it a quits. So that might have been the last runner. Going to take a peek back up front. Had a report that Dickerson went down, and it certainly appears to be the case. Gebhardt has closed this thing down. Looking at about a 3-second lead now for your points leader. Oh, Dickerson almost tucking the rear end out from the outside of the rut there. He can see Dickerson ahead now, but this is almost the same positions they were in about 10 minutes ago. Gap-wise is pretty similar, 4.2 seconds. Clearly Dickerson at a 2.6 last time by is not what he's hoping to run. But almost at will, it seems like Dickerson has been able to slowly pull that gap apart. Look at the speed. Gebhardt able to carry into the waves right there. Got it down to about 3.5 seconds now. Made a small bobble coming down the hill. Oh, you can see him getting a little wayward through those lines. Kind of crossing over some ruts down at the bottom of the hill, and I think that's just an attempt to carry some flow through the track. But both riders now really opening up some wide lines into the corners. Oh, hopping across. Cutting down into the corners. 2.7, well 2.9 now. 53.2 to 54.1, so Gebhardt definitely closing it down. As I was talking about a little bit earlier on, it almost seems like Gebhardt is getting better as the track gets worse, which is exactly what you want to do. Because your competitors maybe build their setup, their suspension, to be able to handle a little bit of the lighter stuff when it's not as deep and chopped out. So Gebhardt has it down to 2.5 seconds, continues to just slowly claw that lead away. And you're getting a fantastic onboard perspective of what this track is looking like as it's breaking down, getting deeper on some of these outside lines where they're starting to almost funnel to at this point in the race. And you can see the race leader, Dickerson, just up the road. I'll tell you what, folks, Gebhardt, now that he has the lure out, he is not going to relinquish this reel-in effect that is going on right now. Watch how much speed he carries through this corner right here. Just lays it over, never even off the gas. Doubles in, doubles up, should double off, and then he's been trying to double around this inside, but thinks better of it this time. I think he's close enough now that he doesn't really need to push the envelope as much. And these two have just been kind of exchanging blows as the season has gone on thus far. Gebhardt has won some motos, Dickerson has won some motos, they both won some overalls. And here we go, it is battle time in Portugal, 18 and a half, almost 19 minutes into this thing. And your two leaders are a half second apart from each other. It's Dickerson and Gebhardt. Dropping down the hill to the other side of the valley. Oh man, Gebhardt absolutely flying into that corner entry, carrying so much more speed it would seem than Dickerson. Swinging back around up the hill. And dropping back in. Yeah, Time Moto, that's not from the track though. You can see that the FPS in game is fluctuating, but I'm looking at perfectly still or fluid images. It's probably just a little bit of like frame droppage from the internet, so. It'll sort out. It always does. Every time I'm like, crap, I gotta reset 18 different things, it just eventually sorts out. So hang tight at the beginning. I am putting a backup file and record. So uploading to YouTube, you'll still see the highest quality stuff. Yeah, it is dropping, but I mean, it's going no lower than like 50. And the human eye can't see anything lower than, or anything higher than 30 really, but yeah, no, I mean, this happens every stream. The FPS goes up and down in game because riders go to different sections of the track. The road obviously is wearing down the game a little bit more, and then I have everybody's skins. So even though my computer is like max power, like one of the best computers you can buy, this game is still pretty intensive when you have every single person's skins and they all want to use 4K stuff. Battle for the lead though is in freaking tense. Dickerson has got to be feeling the pressure here. It's almost like he's upped his pace a little bit. Taking a look at the lap times, 52.5, 52.8, so they're basically running the same lap. Oh, Gebhardt a little tuck of the front wheel, but able to catch it. Look at this move. Oh, he almost got there. Little bit of a mistake, and it's cost him some time now. Dickerson able to scoot away by about 4 or 5 seconds, and they have a lapper in between them, so that does not help Gebhardt's case, but he definitely took a lunge there at the bottom of the hill. Oh, this lapper just trying to pick a line that Gebhardt's not going into. That's the 811 of Luke Sullivan. He comes up super short on the triple there. Just trying to get out of the way. We also have a lapper down right here on exit of the corner for Dickerson. He doesn't see him and he hits him. He goes down. Gebhardt has to go around and takes over the race lead. That was Jack Fowler. Interesting change of events here. Dickerson, just as we saw Gebhardt get a little bit held up by a lapper, ends up going down, or Dickerson ends up going down. So Dickerson's got to try to regroup here. He's still trying to get around Jack Fowler, whom he just hit. So up to the top of the hill and down. It is now Walter Gebhardt. After Dickerson has led basically every lap since the beginning, we have a new leader in Portugal. Checking in at 22.5 minutes into this 30+2. It's Walter Gebhardt in the front. Ooh, a little mistake there, and Fred Heather goes down ahead of him. See if Dickerson's able to avoid the 513 machine. He will. Oh, Kevin Gonzalez has made it up to third, but he just went down, so that's going to hand the third position back over to Brandon Holmes here. But he is not out of the water yet. Gonzalez gets up right behind him. These two have opened up a little bit of a gap on Moxie, a distant fifth behind them. And Moxie's bringing Tyler Lang with him. Alex Kerr on the 913 trying to move out of the way. Holmes just made a mistake though, and Gonzalez has gone on through back into third. Moxie and Lang continue their duel. Down by the mechanics area, Lang getting on the back wheel, putting as much traction on the ground as he can. He's gonna hop to the outside. Let's see if this line is working. It is not. He tucks the front wheel and down he goes. He is gonna lose a spot to Dalton Plessinger as well. And Jack Catlin is just quite not gonna be able to get there as he's coming down by the mechanics area right now. So Lang gets up still in seventh, but Lang, as we saw earlier in the race, fastest lap earlier on, clearly has the speed to be up at the front, and he just went down again to the top of the hill. Looks like he took Bachelet with him. And Lang trying to get going before Gatlin gets there. Gatlin actually gets into the side of him as he gets there. So now that battle is going to continue. And these two are not too far away from potentially getting lapped by our race leaders. Further back, we have Dylan Copeland, and there is race leader Walter Gebhardt right behind Dylan Copeland. So Copeland is in ninth, and he just got lapped. So only 8 riders still on the lead lap here. So Copeland is just trying to get out of Gebhardt's way, but these guys are going back and forth. And it's almost allowing Dickerson to kind of close back up, as now Gebhardt is finally able to get around Copeland around the outside there. So Gebhardt now has a little bit of clean air to work with. Oh, and Dickerson was just down at the bottom of the hill, so that is going to open the gap out over 15 seconds. And Dickerson, it has really come unraveled here for him. Unfortunate turn of events, no doubt. As we were set to see a fantastic battle. Just almost kind of a mental mistake there from Dickerson. We had Jack Fowler getting up sideways in the track. I'm sure that Dickerson won't be too thrilled with that, but it's kind of a lapse in judgment almost from really both riders, honestly. For Fowler getting up sideways and for Dickerson just not able to kind of control which way he was going and running right into the side of him. I've been there though before, trying to pick which direction somebody might be going when they get up from a crash, and all it does is bite you. As now Dickerson is down again. Fortunately for him, they were over a minute ahead of Kevin Gonzalez in third, but that is still probably gonna spell the end of his challenge at Gebhardt for the lead, which means that 6-point lead that he had in the championship will now be down to a 3-point lead heading into the second race, setting up a really fun one here for us. If they go 1-2 again with Gebhardt at the front, it is going to be a mano-a-mano tie in the championship going into round 5. Oh my goodness, Moxie almost through the front door right there as he's giving chase to Kevin Gonzalez in third. And just as quickly as he almost goes down, he is regrouped immediately and almost has a pass made on Gonzalez in a couple spots here, looking inside, but that's not going to work. So dropping downhill, Moxie, Gonzalez continue their battle. Again, nowhere close, unfortunately for both of them, to our race leaders. And let's actually take a look. OG Brandon Holmes is still in 5th. Dalton Plessinger is charged up to 6th, and he's not too far behind Holmes. He's bringing Tyler Lang with him in 7th. 8th is Jack Gatlin, or I should say was Jack Gatlin. He'll stay in that spot because 9th, Dylan Copeland, is well back here. And Copeland pretty much has just latched on to Walter Gebhardt. So 9th has gone a lap down. 10th is Jonathan Hughes for Architect. 11th, Christian Reed on the 354. 12th for Fred Heather. 13th is Luke Sullivan. 14th is our Versus PC one to watch, Jake Thomas for Power Dream, who was the man on the move earlier on, but has come unglued here a little bit with a few mistakes. Big time Boner Air Leclerc error right there. You know, Brendan behind him has gone down. He is in 15th. 16th is Jacob Warden. 17th for Alex Kerr. 18th for Daniel Batchelor. 19th for Connor Wells. And 20th is Jack Fowler. Everybody behind this has called it a moto, which means that everybody running on the track still is going to score a point of some kind. "29 minutes about to cross on the clock, and Walter Gebhardt continues to lead in Portugal. MX2 race 1 dropping down off the top of the hill, trying to find his way around Alex Kerr on that 913. Kerr just going to move wide off the track, and Gebhardt goes on through. So Dickerson, after those few crashes, has completely lost touch with Gebhardt. But as mentioned, his lead over Moxie is still gigantic. In fact, just to give you an idea of how big this lead is, we're going to go ahead and do a quick run through the field here as time is about to expire. Trying to get into a spot where we're looking straight on. Maybe in the waves up here at the top of the hill will be a good one. So here comes Gebhardt through the top section. Rails around the outside, tries to carry his speed through. So here is your race leader, Gebhardt. Let's take a look through the waves now. Going back to second, you have to go a long ways. There's Copeland, who's P9 but 1 lap down on the 44. And behind him, 10th, Jonathan Hughes on the 134, going through for Architect. Alex Kerr is 2 laps down, but there goes Dickerson by. He is second on the 25, with Kerr right behind him. And Christian Reed, who is 1 lap down, he is the next position behind Hughes up ahead, so he's 11th.
Wow, I'm just waiting for mine.
And then look at how far we have to go back to find third. This is also 1 lap down, Fred Heather. He is 12th. And we got Luke Sullivan coming through, Daniel Batchelor coming through, Jake Thomas coming through. Connor Wells is off the track in the background. We haven't even found third place yet. I mean, this is how far the leaders were gone in this race. It should be Kevin Gonzalez still in third, although, of course, he was in that battle with Jordan Moxie. Let's see. Oh, it looks like it is Moxie now. So Moxie right there is in third. That is P3. Look at how far back they were. And Holmes is up to fourth, so Brandon Holmes has made the move on Gonzalez. We have lost Kagon, and now battling for fifth is Gonzalez and Dalton Plessinger as they go side by side through the waves. A couple of lappers right behind them. Reno Brennan, a lap down. We're waiting on Jack Gatlin and Tyler Lang. Here is Gatland coming through the rollers. And Lang should be behind him in 8th. But I think he's still on the lead lap. I mean, look at the gaps here are insane. And yeah, Lang just got put a lap down. So Lang in P8 is now behind Gebhardt, who is the leader. And that has been a quick run through the field. Everybody just went by our screen right there. Oh, and Dalton Plesinger's gotten together right there with Holmes and Gonzalez. That puts Plessinger up to 4th. That may be as far as he can get, as Moxie is 14 seconds up the road. Swinging around the inside rut there, dropping down off the top of the hill. Plessinger is trying to hold off Brandon Holmes here. A couple of triple-digit warriors out here trying to get their name on the 4th place plaque here. Inside line for Plessinger, outside for Holmes. It's going to work out almost evenly as they go up the hill. Connor Wells down there, a couple laps down for the 203 on the 125. Holmes going through the front door at the top. Oh, and Plessinger goes down too. They're both down and off the bike. That's going to allow Gonzalez back through into 4th. Who's going to get up first now? It looks like Holmes is going to have the angle, and he will get up ahead of Plessinger in 5th. The battle continues, though, and look at Holmes. Goes down, loses the front end on the corner entry. So it gives Plessinger back that P5. Wow, what a wacky little change of events there. Lang still behind Gebhardt here, and Gatlin just up the road a little bit, so neither of those guys are really anywhere close to getting onto the back wheel of Kevin Gonzalez, Dalton Plessinger, or Brandon Holmes. At the moment, though, nobody has anything for Walter Gebhardt. Dickerson kept him honest pretty much the whole race by leading for so long, but Gebhardt, it is time, waited for the mistakes to happen, and they came. And he pounced on the opportunity, took over the race lead with about 8 minutes and 2 laps left to go. And now with just a couple corners here, is well on his way to winning race number 1 in the MX2 class in Portugal. Brings this championship fight down to just 3 points in it, heading into race number 2, which will come up on the other side of a quick little 5-minute break. And Gebhardt very kindly lets Tyler Lang have his lap back there before the finish line, but he has such a big lead. It really doesn't matter. Beautiful race, beautiful job. Walter Gebhardt is your winner here. Race number 1 in Portugal with a front flip over the line in celebration. At the end of it all, looks like it was about 15 seconds over Dickerson. Let's see, official timestamp's going to show us here 13.9. So Dickerson still picks up 2nd. And Copeland in 9th was the first man 1 lap down. Moxie is all alone in 3rd. Gonzalez is kind of all alone in 4th now. Plessinger's still trying to give chase. May have an opportunity if Gonzalez has a crash. But now Plessinger slides out, and that might open up an opportunity for Brandon Holmes to get in the mix. Here he comes on the 148 around the outside. Dropping down off the hill. Swinging around down through the valley one last time. Reno Brennan takes out Plessinger. What? Brennan just went down, and Dalton Plessinger has lost 5th. So Gatlin is up ahead. Brandon Holmes is up ahead. Oh, what a way to come unglued there for the 333. Now Holmes is just trying to hang on and salvage this 5th place position. Gatlin, who has been charging all moto, might have an opportunity to steal it with a couple corners to go. Up ahead, Moxie's already finished across in 3rd. 4th should be Kevin Gonzalez. We'll wait for the official score. And keeping an eye on this battle for 5th. Who is it going to be? Down by the mechanics area one more time. Holmes just trying to keep it tight and steady through this final couple corners. He gets a couple big kicks and then cuts the final corner. That might actually affect him negatively as he crosses the line in 5th, but only 0.6 of a second up on Gatlin. Yeah, that final corner cut may have just killed his chance at finishing P5 right there. Oh, and Dalton Plessinger goes down right before the finish line jump, and Lang steals 7th at the very end of the race. Incredible. Dalton Plessinger went from 5th to 8th, in 1 lap, and I bet you he is not too happy right now with Reno Brennan, who crashed right in front of him, and Plessinger had nowhere to go. 9th was Copeland, as mentioned. 10th for Hughes, 11th Reed, 13th 12th Sullivan, 13th was Heather, 14th versus PC1 to watch Jake Thomas. 15th was Jake Warden, 16th Brennan, 17th Kerr, 18th Batchelor, 19th Wells, and 20th Fowler. Let's see, cuts. Did it change a position? It did not. Brandon Holmes was still able to hold on for 5th. And he had no cuts. Oh no, he had 0.8 of a second of cuts, but Gatlin behind him had almost 4 seconds of cuts. So yeah, you can see where that comes from. I'm gonna do a little soft-spoken intermission here as we have kind of a lull in the action, a little 5-minute break, but my boy TG over there is trying to race his heat race, so I don't want to disturb him too much as he's trying to focus. But if you guys have any questions you'd like me to answer, this is where I open up the discussion. Always like playing the track a little bit after the race is over too, to see what does it feel like. What are these guys hitting? How big are the ruts getting? What's up, Kyler Hockey? How you doing, buddy? Thank you for the donation earlier. Oh, that downhill feels nice with that rut dug out there. Oh, short. Yeah, that didn't work. Kyler Hockey in chat saying he's ready to fade. Me too, good sir. Although I've always been ready for that because that was my entire sim career in a nutshell. Oh boy, going long on the double. What's up, Yogi944, aka Austin Bear, who I think, did you just not finish this race? Yeah, what happened, man? Going out in P21, you could have picked up a point. I'm actually gonna take a quick peek over and see how Todd's doing. Todd right now is racing the main event of the DMR series. He's running in P5 in the 450 Pro class. Check him out, I believe twitch.tv/TG Photo. What's up, Don219? How you doing tonight, dude? Rogan MX says, shaking my head, which probably not too pumped about something. And Yogi944 Austin Bear says he hasn't played Sims since Thunder Valley, so I think just wasn't gelling too much with the track. That is expected if you haven't played that much in the last couple weeks. Spec P11, alright, who is P11 and what are they about to do? Christian Reed. Is he doing a big transfer or something? Or is he just getting froggy fresh over the finish line jump? Looks like it might be the latter. Alright. Come on, Reedy. Big ups. Let's see some upside downs. Oh, look at the Oppo whip and then almost lands on Jack Gatlin. Now what's he got right here? 2 front flip. Nice. I like it. Man, what's up with the chat tonight? You guys don't have any questions for me? It's the 5-minute Ask Me Anything segment. How drunk are you? Not very. I've only had 1.5 beers. B Barzy dropping in says, damn, I was in top 10 for a while there, but crashed too much. Thanks for choosing me as the one to watch, Kellen. Pretty cool since I don't race that often. Yeah, no problem, Barzy. Jake Thomas dropping by chat. I just noticed you scrolling through my list as someone that we don't see out here very often, as you said, so always like giving a little bit of shine and glory to some guys that aren't here week after week and showed up this week. So cool to see you up there, and good luck in Moto 2. Chug, chug, chug. Why aren't I good at sim yet, Rogan MX wants to know. Well, not everybody gets good at it, I will say that. Todd and I have a friend, his name is Puma. He's played the game for a long time. Never really got that good at it. But he's had it since 2008. Do you think they will unban Rush and Mullins? No, I don't think so. But you know what? They've unbanned everybody else who they have supposedly permanently banned before. So yeah, maybe they will. How do I feel about this type of road? Kyler Hockey wants to know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I haven't seen it enough tonight to really know how I feel about this track shaping up. But I mean, I'm okay with the road system on other tracks. I know a lot of people are saying that they would like a lot more of the pre-made stuff, and I get that. But you know, it's cool to see the lines develop, the track change, people get tested, because before it was literally just hot lap hero. I mean, there's a reason why Leclerc was really, really good one year and then kind of not so great the rest, and then it took him a while to come back around. He just got really good at hitting the same lines over and over and over and over and over and over again, so. Oh, you guys are saying that Rush is getting unbanned after Outdoors. Interesting. And yeah, Kyler, the Puma XCS, aka Kevin Thomas, aka Mountain Cat, aka Magic Man, because his internet is terrible. All right, parade lap out right now for MX2 Race 2 in Portugal. And versus PC, one to watch this time. Let's see. I will say it will be... let's say Jake Warden here on the Wild Side Designs number 59. He was doing a little bit of complaining in chat after the first race, saying it was the worst track ever. But one thing I always like about Jakey Poo is he doesn't ever seem to give up. He's a gamer, and I think he's going to put all 30 in, so I think he's a good versus PC one to watch this one. So these guys finishing up a little parade lap action, seeing the track one more time as it is smooth now. And race host Jeremy Kahooner gives it a old restart of Rooney's in chat. And we're set to go for race number 2 in Portugal. 30 minutes and 2 laps ahead of us. And really the biggest storyline is Dickerson versus Gebhardt. As it was at the beginning of the stream, these two have exchanged wins basically back to back to back to back the past couple motos. Will they do it again? Will someone else step up to the plate? Will we ever find out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? All these questions and more about to be answered live on SYS TV as race number 2 of the MX2 division is off and running in Portugal. Tyler Lang hit the gate. Jonathan Hughes out of the middle, gets to the corner first and grabs the whole shot this time. He was unable to successfully do that last time as he ran a little bit wide. But it's Hughesy leading Gebhardt down the hill the first time. Bringing Gatlin with him. No sign just yet of Dickerson near the front. He looks like he is listed P11 through the first split. And Gebhardt's already going to the lead up the hill. Trying to get a run on Hughes. Middle rut down the hill. And Gebhardt, new leader in Portugal. Trying to tuck to the inside, little short on landing. Fortunately, nobody else behind him did the corner anywhere near half decent. So he is able to maintain the race lead. Hughes and Gatlin almost come together. How about it for Alex Kerr on the 913, who gets a good start this time and is right at the old sharp end of the field here. Through that wave section we go. Oh no, look at that. Jonathan Hughes has gone down. Whole shot to probably almost dead last. That is a terrible way to get your moto started, crashing halfway through the first lap, because the whole field is still bunched together and you just lost so many positions with that crash. Down the past the mechanics area we go. And Walter Gebhardt is going to lead us through here. Lap number 1, picking up right where he left off in race number 1. Checks in as our leader. Gatlin second, Kerr third. Lang is up in fourth, though. He just cased the table and gets landed on by Christian Reed, who had nowhere to go. And just like the same case for Jonathan Hughes, look at everybody and their mother seems to be going by him. Oh, Brandon Holmes just absolutely cased that table down the hill. Fortunate not to bounce and have a fall off. Luke Sullivan has just gone down as these guys are all in a mad dash. Fred Heather and his teammate Jordan Moxley side by side. We got about 7 guys in the air at the same time as Fred Heather just went down on the landing of the Ride365.com table. There's Dickerson right behind his teammate Lang. They're both chasing down in a crashing Alex Kerr. And Lang gets into the side of him, so Dickerson now might have an angle on his teammate. Similar looks out of these two this week. Same gear, same helmet, except the tinted lens on Dickerson's goggles. Obviously the red plate. Oh my goodness, and he almost gets together with his teammate there. Lang just lets him go, and Dickerson does a little bike hump in action. They're still side by side. We got dualies? Kinda. Lang didn't really throw it. And now he just goes straight on off the track right there. I think he was trying not to get too hung up with his teammate. So further up, it's Gatlin and Gebhardt continuing to lead. Curious to see what Gatlin does with a good start. He was kind of charging all the way forward in that first race. You know, the first time we saw him, he was like right about 10th. Ended up 6th, I believe it was, in Moto number 1. But does he have the pace to run with our leaders, or was it just kind of like circumstantial that he was able to get those positions late? I think we'll find out in the next 10 or so minutes, I'm assuming. Dickerson's going to try to close down. Lang obviously still lurking back there in 4th. Rasmus Eriksson is up in 5th. You might remember Eriksson had the problem of going off the racetrack of some kind in the first race and missing a bunch of timing gates. So unfortunately for his case, he has no score from that first race, or at least I think it was like a 23rd unofficially scored. This time around finds himself up in P5, and he's going to try to stick up here for TMFR. Good old TM Factory Racing boys. Oh, a little short on the uphill triple. And here comes Copeland on the 44. Bringing it down nice and tidy. He peeks inside coming down the hill. He's bringing Brandon Holmes with him, Jonathan Hughes, Kevin Gonzalez. All these guys had pretty decent first motos, and the overalls amongst them are going to be awfully split up. Gonzalez hopping through the rollers alongside Hughes, trying to get an angle, but Hughes still has the inside into the next corner, so he holds him off for now. Oh, look at that from Gonzalez. I thought he had the pass made. Sent it down the inside, but Hughes fights back, and now Hughes goes down. Catches a little bit of too much traction exiting that corner, hops up over the tough blocks, and falls off on the other side. Everybody moseys on through. So here we are 6 minutes in. And at the moment, lead gaps have kind of stabilized. 5 seconds over Gatlin is Gebhardt. Dickerson about 10 or so seconds behind Gatlin. And then all the chaos is really happening behind that. Lang trying to go with his teammate Dickerson up ahead in fourth. And we have Ericsson, Copeland, Gonzalez pretty much locked together, mano a mano. Moxie coming with them. Brandon Holmes isn't too far behind that. Christian Reed and Alex Kerr also locked together. Fred Heather and his teammate Jonathan Hughes behind him. Jake Thomas for Power Dream, our versus PC one to watch in that first race. And Reno Brennan on the 125 sliding through with Luke Sullivan, Connor Wells, Devin Ryan, Daniel Batchelet, and here is our current versus PC one to watch in this moto, Jake Warden on the number 59 Wildside Designs ride. He is currently circulating back in, I think, 17th. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We passed a lot more riders than I thought. He is P20, so he's scoring a point. Jack Fowler pretty far behind him. Chandler Bloxham has called it a moto. Brett Powers also out, and Dalton Plessinger is out of this one. So Plessinger, after the frustrations of going from 5th to 8th in that first race on the final lap of the race, isn't even going to score in the second moto. Man, you hate to see that, as he was having a brilliant day here in Portugal. But hopefully we'll see him back next week in action. All right, so Gatlin now 7 seconds adrift of Gebhardt. Man on the move, though, is Isaiah Dickerson, who just put down a 151 flat, which reset fastest lap of the race last time through. About 8 minutes into this thing, track is developing to be about its prime position, I would say. So you're just going to look at the pit board here and see that gap going down slowly there from Dickerson to Gatland. Was it 4 seconds? Let's see. Does he reel it in at all? Actually, no, it opens up a little bit. So Gatland maybe responding to some pressure a little bit. See him exiting the corner just up ahead. Man, Dickerson using... I would say he's using all the track, but he's using so much of the track that he's not even using the track anymore. I'm just curious to see what this lap time is going to be this time by. Has it down under 3 seconds, is slowly clawing that gap away. Down under 2.5, launches through the inside here. A little bit long in the corner, so that's going to hurt lap time. Still does a 52.2, 54 flat out of Gatlin up ahead, and a 53.4 out of Gebhardt in the race lead. So Dickerson still fastest man on the track at the moment. Oh, Dickerson throws the front end in, rides the nose. But fortunately not to fall off the bike right there. Still giving chase to Gatlin up ahead. Give credit where credit's due. Tyler Lang, who was a little bit erratic in that first race, seems to have kind of settled down in the second one, at least thus far, and is pretty much going along with his teammate Dickerson. They were a little bit closer a few laps ago, but he has clearly established himself as fourth or better in this moto, because the gap from him back is pretty good size back to Copeland. This is a good battle still. These guys have been locked together the entire moto. 3 different Husky teams and 3 very different kind of riding styles among these 3. Kind of have like a seasoned vet in Copeland, kind of like an established front runner in Gonzalez, and a complete newbie in Brandon Holmes in this series. And they are all just absolutely battling it out right now. Oh man, Holmes is making a big old mistake through the rollers right there. Swinging around the outside. Oh, a little short on the uphill step up there from Gonzalez. Corrals it together. And dropping back down the hill, looking for a line on Holmes. Nothing doing though. So they're just running such similar paces and they're all just locked together. Holmes is looking to get after Copeland still. All the while, the front runners are getting away. We have a tight-knit battle going on up front. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Gebhardt is on the back, or getting attacked, I should say, by Isaiah Dickerson. This is huge for the championship. As it stands right now, they would leave this round tied in points. Dickerson can flip the script and no points gained on the day for Gebhardt, and Dickerson wins the GP overall. Not even halfway into this thing yet, so tons of racing still to go, but this is about as tight as the action has been between them, and Dickerson almost launches by on the outside. Through the waves at the top of the track they go. And then dropping down the hill, Dickerson thought he might have a peek down the inside, but Gebhardt blocks. Working our way up the hill. Again, Dickerson peaking, but not close enough. So down by the mechanics area, who's got the better drive? Looks like this time it's going to be Gebhardt, who opens it up just a tiny bit. And then working our way up to the finish line area. Jack Fowler, the man that kind of caused Dickerson's crash in that first race, right in the mix, and Dickerson almost gets hit again. Oh my goodness, how did he miss Fowler right there? Very, very close action, and he almost gets into Gebhardt for the lead. Back and forth they go, and Dickerson gets a nice scrub on the table. Gebhardt goes long. Cuts back underneath, up to the top of the hill. They both tuck to this center rut. And then drop right back down the hill. Look at Dickerson. He's going to try to swing around the outside here. Look at the line. Does he have an line up the inside? No. Gebhardt shuts the door, and they funnel into the same at the top of the hill. Now dropping back down. Again, sticking to the same lines together, but Dickerson seems like he's a little bit quicker through each of them. Oh, I thought he might jump up onto the back of them as they're using a little bit of the external boundaries of the track right there. And you can see Gebhardt has responded a little bit now to the pressure, opened the gap up. Dropping back downhill, and Dickerson again landing pretty far off the side of the track. What is this like from onboard perspective? Oh man. Oh, a little hang up in the corner. Gebhardt gets hung up. That was Alex Kerr on the 913, and new leader, Isaiah Dickerson. So unlike the first moto, it was Dickerson who was the one charging all the way up to the front. And he is taking it away now from Gebhardt. Just about at the halfway point, 14:45 on the clock. So Gebhardt, does he have a response here? Clearly in the second half of the first moto, he was the better rider. But Dickerson looks like he is fired up for this one after the mistakes that ultimately cost him that first moto. So new leader, Isaiah Dickerson, coming down through the valley, bringing Gebhardt with him. And they have opened up the gap now over Tyler Lang to about 8 seconds. So Lang has moved up into third, and again, just kind of like this whole moto, he's just been coming with his teammate Dickerson. The first turn complex, Gebhardt actually looks like he is kind of caught back up to Dickerson just a little bit. And we may be on for yet another battle, one lap apart from each other. This is the line that Dickerson almost used to get him last time through, and Gebhardt has kind of learned and used that line to his advantage. It's one of the things that goes with leading the race is you don't know what someone behind you might be doing anymore. You don't get to follow their lines and see what's faster or slower. So this may actually be a benefit for Gebhardt to get behind him, see where he was gaining that time, and use his own lines against him to take back over the race lead. Oh man, this is close. Dickerson, I thought he might have come a little bit short, but actually Gebhardt was long. Funneling into the same line around the outside into the waves. Both of them electing to kind of hop off that anthill down the inside and double down inside move on Gebhardt. Both those lines work out pretty similarly. Gebhardt a little wayward on the way up the hill. And lap time, oh man. Dickerson gets into a lapper. Gebhardt might have a line. He's gonna have to go the long way, and Dickerson's gonna try to hold him off into the corner, but Gebhardt takes the lead. Dickerson fights back, and they're gonna go bar to bar over the finish line jump. Dickerson, little short, but does he get the power down? No, Gebhardt has the lead, and he's got it back. Where does Dickerson have a move? If he does, he goes down the inside and takes it right back. Gebhardt blew the corner. Frantic action here in Portugal, 17 minutes in. And now Dickerson lands off the track a little bit. Lap traffic could come into play. They're starting to get into it a little bit deeper as Dickerson just able to save it down the inside. That could have been a bit of a crash right there as well. And now Gebhardt switches his line back to the inside, so he has elected that that one is a little bit better. And he's just looking for different options at this point, seeing if he can use something that might be faster. At this point, it doesn't appear that those lines are working in his favor, but this is still anybody's race with a little over 12 minutes and 2 laps left to go. Up to the other side of the valley, still using this outside line. We got a lapped rider just ahead, and man, Gebhardt really seems like he's faster through this section of the track because he closes right up onto him, and he's gonna jump right on by him, so a mistake out of Dickerson. As they're lapping Reno Brennan. Brennan just trying to get out of the way, and Dickerson has to go back after him once again. This is the 3rd or 4th time these guys have changed the lead in the last 5 or so minutes. Something tells me this isn't over yet either. With lappers coming into play potentially, that's Rasmus Eriksson down the inside that they're gonna lap on the 214. Does he know Dickerson is coming as well? I don't think he does. Well, last second he bailed in. That outside line actually looks like it might be coming around for these guys. I want to see what's going on a little bit back from these guys, but at any moment this lead could change hands again. So dropping off the hill here before that first turn area. Ride365.com table. And I believe that is Connor Wells on the 203 moving out of the way. So Gebhardt moves by him. Dickerson follows suit. Nothing in it between these two. Less than a second or right at a second. So again, Dickerson gonna maybe be taking a couple notes here, figuring out where Gebhardt may be gaining on him. Through here, it seems like Dickerson is really fast. Working our way to this back half of the track, but then from about here on, I think Gebhardt might actually be better. Oh man, Dickerson just landed off the inside of the track, and he made a huge mistake. Somehow corrals it together, as I believe that was Alex Kerr they may just be lapping. No, it's Christian Reed on the 354. So Dickerson is throwing a little bit more caution to the wind, dropping down that hill. He was only kind of doubling into the rollers. Now he's tripling down the hill. Gebhardt trying to get away here. Kind of inched the gap back out, but obviously that mistake from Dickerson is probably where you're seeing that change in time come from. It's just incredible to see two of these guys at the top of their game amidst a championship battle just going at it. And it doesn't seem like either one of them is going to relent here. As look at this outside move from Dickerson. Doesn't quite work, but he's got a smoother line into the corner here. And he is right on Gebhardt as they cross the line onto lap number 12. Little over 20 minutes done. It is time for the intensity of this race to be ramped up a little bit. And Dickerson is trying to find any opportunity he can to throw a wheel down the inside now. Back through our first corner complex and up to the top of the hill. Lappers coming up ahead, about 3 of them together. Sullivan on the 811 is one of them. I think and that's Fred Heather on the 513. They don't know where to go here. Heather's trying to peek inside. Sullivan's trying to stay outside as Dickerson almost gets a line on Gebhardt. Jake Thomas down off the track, and Dickerson still looking for a move. Gebhardt makes a mistake, and Dickerson goes back to the lead as they're trying to get around Luke Sullivan. Oh, Fred Heather might be jumping on Gebhardt, and he does! He gets into him! Gebhardt didn't see him, and Dickerson now has a huge lead as the gap we have been watching this entire time fluctuate between 1 second or less is now out over 10 seconds. Maybe just a mental mistake out of Gebhardt, or somebody didn't tell him in his Discord what was going on, but absolutely you could see that on stream. Fred Heather was sending the triple over top of him. A wise decision right there would have been to maybe check up, but you're in a tight battle, the adrenaline's going. Sometimes you don't make the wisest decisions, and in that case it is bit Walter Gebhardt. Isaiah Dickerson back to the lead. And these two have really opened it up. Gatlin is maybe 30 seconds behind them again. Just like in that first race, they were really far apart from each other. Moxie looks like he is probably in line for a podium here. 3rd in the first race, 4th in the second. Gatlin with I believe a 6-3 is not going to get it done. Moxie's still en route for that. Copeland back in 5th. Gonzalez all alone in 6th. Devin Ryan is 7th, but Brandon Holmes is not too far behind him. So pretty steady, solid day for Holmes as it runs. He's going to try to hold off Jonathan Hughes, and is that, I think Dickerson who was lapping him. And actually, Holmes being such a nice lapper, letting Dickerson go, just let Jonathan Hughes go as well. And Hughes actually ends up making a mistake, so he's going to get right back on him. They continue their battle. Got a Jake Thomas, Luke Sullivan battle going on right here. I believe this is for 10th. Oh, and Thomas blows the outside corner, just goes right over the berm. So Sullivan is going to pick up that spot once again. And let's see, is this for 10th? No, it was for 9th. I apologize. So, Devin Ryan. Did he just rage quit? He did. Devin Ryan just rage quit out of P10. So that is no bueno for him. Not going to score points this moto unless other riders have already called it a moto, which seems like they may have. So Thomas is still going to be in 10th. 11th is Reno Brennan trying to hold off Christian Reed. And Reno Brennan, folks, is on a 125 out here. He is scoring some mad points in a GP on a 125. Look at that sweet pipe of his. Rasmus Eriksson, just as we switched to him, he was 13th, but he just went down. He's getting lapped by Jack Gatlin. Jake Warden, our versus PC one to watch, is going to pick up 13th. As Eriksson gets on the track behind him, he's now 14th. 15th is Connor Wells. 16th is Devin Ryan, who just rage quit. 17th is Jack Fowler. 18th, Fred Heather, out of the moto. 19th, Tyler Lang, also out of the moto. And 20th, Daniel Batchelot, out of the moto. Kerr, Bloxham, Powers, Plessinger also rage quit near the beginning. So we have guys who are not going to be finishing this race, but will be scoring points. And that is how the field runs with 5 minutes and 2 laps left to go here in Agueda in Portugal. Taking a look at the gap out front, it has come down a little bit. 52.1 out of Gebhardt last time through to a 53.8 out of Dickerson. So 6.6 seconds is the lead. That is a lot of time still to make up for Gebhardt when you saw just how close their paces were to each other. Got a lap rider down right there. That might have been Jack Fowler. I want to stay on board here with Gebhardt for just a second as he comes down to the line this time by. I want to see, A, is his lap time still better than Dickerson? And B, did he claw away enough time that it might kind of exacerbate out a little bit to be plausible that he catches him on raw speed without a mistake. I'm thinking not, but I've been wrong many times before. So up to the top of the hill. Beautiful track here in Portugal. Kind of just goes in and out of a valley consistently. Really utilizes the elevation. Tricky racing surface. Kind of has a loose top, solid bottom. And Gebhardt through the final corner. 52.8 to a 54.9. Yeah, that 2 seconds a lap with 4.5 minutes or 3.5 minutes and 2 laps to go. Gap under 6 seconds now. And creeping up on 5 seconds. This actually could get interesting before this is over, folks. So don't hit that URL bar just yet. We may have a battle on our hands. Trying to peek through the field and see if we see anything else before that one heats up. And yes, we have a battle. Copeland and Gonzalez going at it right now. This is for 5th. Gonzalez trying to make it 2 runs inside of the top 5 here in Portugal. Holy cannolis. KR Money gifting 15 tier 1 subs right now in chat. KR, you are the man, dude. I appreciate it. So thankful that you come by and gift all these subs, man. That is so cool of you. I can't even believe it. You are a legend. And yeah, everybody be sure to thank him in chat by dropping a fat in chat, as you are now a member of the SYS community right now. Thank you, KR Money. And as soon as this race is over, I will be kindly welcoming everybody that just got subscribed to the SYS community. There's the fats in chat. Flysard and Jay Mayo dropping it in. KR Money legendary around here. I'm gonna have to send him something. I got a couple jerseys laying around or something I could send him. Gifted like 50 subs already this year. Whoa, Gonzalez up and through the tough blocks. Still giving chase here to Copeland. Dropping down the hill. And up to the top on the other side. And yeah, that gap between Dickerson and Gebhardt now out over 10 seconds, so something must have happened for the 13 machine. And this battle continues, but nothing really going on. Gonzalez not able to get close enough just yet to Copeland to make anything really happen. Then Hughesy is way back here. Brandon Holmes. I think these guys are a lap down. Let's see. Oop. Yeah, so P7 is a lap down right now. So P6 and up are still on the lead lap. That's okay. These guys are still scoring good points all the way back to Luke Sullivan, who is still in 10th. Everybody dropping by here with their new subs. Getting the notification on the stream. Just dropping in every 10 seconds or so with the new notifications. There's going to be 15 of them scrolling through, of course. In fact, I might as well just do a quick rundown of who got gifted a sub here. KR Money, of course, coming through in the clutch, but welcome to the community. Flysard34, Rogan MX, It's Rye or It's Reed Bud, Mikey0527, that's his second time being subbed, so welcome back, Mikey. Jeff Giffen, Spink MS, Benchwarmer BC, Trav4657, Caleb Hall 561, Is Grimy, Gassim58, Jared Hansen 66666, Kyler Hockey, and Not Handy. Welcome, guys, everybody, to the SYS community, and of course, thank you, KR. You are the man for those gifted subs. So 30 minutes done, 2 laps left to go. Dickerson checks in on the lap number 17, on his way to winning the RFGP of Portugal and keeping his points lead right exactly at that 6 mark, where it was when we started here tonight. Just like the last couple of rounds, Dickerson and Gebhardt in line to split Moto victories. It seems like when Gebhardt gets the flow going, he may be a little bit faster than Dickerson in raw pace, but Dickerson, now a champion, is crafty. He knows exactly what to do. Has a rough season going right now in the RF Nationals, but GPs, he is still full bore trying to win himself a world title. And if he keeps having these turnaround second motos like this, where he can come through and seemingly at will change his entire philosophy about the race around and put the pressure on Gebhardt to start making the mistakes, and after a fantastic battle that we saw in this Moto 2, still come out on top, that is going to play huge dividends as we move into the second half of the series. Ones that Gebhardt may struggle to keep within arm's reach of. But very, very clearly, these two are the class of the field, not even close. Jordan Moxey, P3, just like he was in race number 1, over a minute behind our leader at the moment. So 1 lap left to go as he comes by the mechanics area. The 1 lap board will go out. And Gebhardt is given it one final challenge here. Has the gap down to 5.9. He has not given up. And the white flag is waving there. 51.5. I think he just did, well, he did his personal best, but by far fastest lap amongst everybody else in the race still. 54.7 out of Dickerson, so he was 3 seconds a lap slower that last time through. I mean, if Gebhardt does that again, he won't actually catch him, but he'll make Dickerson really think about it. Oh, he's going long here. Oof. And then slides out coming into the first corner. That is not going to help his case whatsoever. But just trying to keep things interesting, just in case a mistake out of Dickerson. Ooh, Gatlin just got back around Jordan Moxey, so these two continuing to dispute the P3 position. Whoa, I thought somebody was going on the track backwards there. Looks like it was just a little camera trickery. So does Moxey have something up his sleeve? No, actually what he has up his sleeve is dirt, because he just slid out. So Gonzalez is going to close it down, but he will not get to him. Moxey's still going to get going in 4th. So that really actually separated everybody here. Copeland, Brandon Holmes, Hughes, Sullivan, and Warden inside of the top 10. So our versus PC going to watch Jake Warden having a fabulous second race here. Christian Reed and Reno Brennan battling over 11th. Brennan trying to get that 125 as many points as it possibly can get. But you can almost hear that thing crying a little bit around this track. Going up and down these hills for 30+2. Peeking back up to the front. Here he comes, folks. Isaiah Dickerson is going to go 2-1 on the day and win the RFGP of Portugal with a fantastic victory here in race number 2. Keeps his points lead at 6. And Gebhardt has just got to be wondering, what does he got to do week in and week out? He puts the challenge to Dickerson, and Dickerson responds every single time. So they split scores once again. The points go nowhere. And Dickerson will still have that red plate next week when we get back to racing. Moxey trying to challenge Gatlin, but is not going to get close enough, I don't think, by the end of this thing. Oh, Brandon Holmes just tipped over. That's going to allow Hughes to go through. That is going to be a change for 7th, I believe. With just a few corners left to go for these guys. Man, Holmes has got to be kicking himself with a couple of these late race crashes recently. I think that was for 7th. Yeah, Copeland in 6th. So 7th, Hughes is going to come by. He is the first guy 1 lap down here. And just trying to keep it on 2 wheels. He will make it. Holmes going to cross the line behind him. Wow, Jake Warden got pretty darn close to Holmes before this was over. He's going to finish 9th. That's what I said about him being a versus PC one to watch in this race. He is just going to keep on trucking. Christian Reed crosses 10th. Luke Sullivan blows 9th on the last lap, comes across 11th. Reno Brennan on the 125 is going to get 12th. 13th for Rasmus Eriksson. 14th, Jake Thomas already finished. 15th, Connor Wells. 16th, Jack Fowler out of the race. 17th, Devin Ryan. 18th Fred Heather, 19th Tyler Lang, and 20th Daniel Batted. So 5 guys didn't finish the race. They are still going to get points. All right, who are we waiting to come across here? P6, Copeland, just went down before the finish line. Oh, and someone else behind him. Who is coming over the hill here? Who are you? Show your face. Ah, it's Rasmus Eriksson, who is going to finish up 13th. So Copeland's still on the lead lap. Eriksson 1 lap down, but they're going to come to the line basically together. And over the line they go. And there we are. Cuts are finally in. Let's see. Anybody gain a position? Doesn't appear to be the case. And yes, that has confirmed Isaiah Dickerson, the winner of the RFGP of Portugal in Agueda. And he's going to take that nice shiny red plate with him to the next round of the series. All right, that has been the MX2 division. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be back on the other side with the MX1 class, where things are going to get hot and heavy with some of the best riders in the world here in Portugal. Thank you guys for watching the MX2 class, though, here on SYS TV, and we'll see you guys in a moment.